This is the perfect demonstration of friction and grip. Hey there, and welcome back to the Continental Tires Garage. You know, to most people, and when I say most people, I actually just mean me, a tire just looks like a big black mass of rubber. But what if I told you that summer tires and winter tires have about as much in common as a bouncy ball and Play-Doh? Today, we're gonna crack the code of tire compounds, together with our expert, Thorsten Torbrügge.
Thanks for having me, let's go.
We're glad to have you in this very cold studio today, but I see you've dressed a little more appropriately for the climate, and you've even brought an extra pair of shoes with you.
Yes, that's because I today want you to think of a car as a hiker, and actually the tire being its footwear.
All right.
What both have in common is that both provide the only contact to the road, and therefore the grip for you walking in shoes and for the car driving on tires. And the shoe sole would actually be the tread compound, the only part in contact with the road. By the way, what kind of tires do you have?
All-season tires by Continental, of course.
Of course, nice choice of brand, but also a very good type of tire for the conditions here in northern Germany. However, if you think of different climate conditions, for example in Canada, where it's really cold and freezing in the winter, lots of snow and ice, there you want to have a tire that is more like a winter hiking boot. Flexible, soft, rugged surface to have really excellent grip on snow and ice.
Well, you know, I kind of prefer warmer conditions. So what about, say, Southern Europe, Spain? What if I was going to go there?
There, your footwear would be more emphasis on wear resistance. You don't want to wear down fast, and for that, the shoe sole then has to be more durable and stiff.
And what about, say, more tropical or humid climates like Southeast Asia?
Very nice holiday vacation. And there, of course, you have a lot of rain. Safety on wet conditions is your premium point, and you want them to have a shoe sole with very excellent wet grip performance.
Just so we can really show you what we're talking about, we've set up a couple of experiments in the garage today. Let's start with a classic test of temperature and flexibility. Ready? We have one piece of rubber heating up in the oven. So, okay. And it bounces.
Yes, that's what you expect of rubber, right? But actually, I put mine in the fridge.
Wow. Doesn't bounce at all.
This happens to a summer tread compound if you put it under winter conditions, under cold temperature conditions, and it gets stiff and brittle. And the tire can't work anymore, and you don't have any grip on snow and ice.
Right. I have one more piece of rubber. So this one is soft and it bends. What does that tell us?
This is now a sample of a winter tread compound, but under really warm conditions, and then it actually gets too soft, and you have a lot of movement in the footprint of the tire, and that leads to a lot of wear, and also the rolling resistance is increasing. So not the ideal compound for your tire under these conditions. I want to show you what happens if we take a summer tire compound and then really put it to some freezing conditions. Look what you can do to rubber if you make it really cold, especially if it's not designed for cold winter conditions.
Oh, wow.
And it really breaks apart like glass.
Okay, you've convinced me. So we've established that flexibility is key, but how does Continental manage to keep a tire soft in sub-zero temperatures without it melting in the summer?
That's actually the rubber coat. A tire compound is not made up of one material, but it's actually a composition of up to 20 different ingredients.
Why is that so hard to perfect?
Because all the different ingredients have different strengths and weaknesses. You want low rolling resistance for good fuel efficiency and energy efficiency, but you also want high grip performance for safety. And that means you have to balance all the different ingredients in just the right way for the application and conditions of the tire.
Sounds pretty complex. So what are some of the key components?
The most important one is always a polymer, and this is here a natural rubber. So also as a raw material, a bouncy material, jumps wherever it wants. But we also have different ingredients like the fillers, also softeners and other stuff. But fillers is a very important class. This here actually is silica. And the silica filler is used a lot in the tread compound of the tire that we discussed a lot today, because it provides excellent wet grip and rolling resistance. Usually that's a trade-off. Silica offers the opportunity to directly bind the filler to the rubber. And that is achieved by actually a combination of different ingredients and just the right conditions for a chemical reaction. So it's really chemistry happening for the tire, in the tire.
I can see you really enjoy it.
Yes, very much so.
So we've seen how extreme temperatures affect the rubber, but what about the tread? Right, let's see how well I do with my beach sandals on this slippery surface. Whoa! There's absolutely no grip and I'm just shuffling.
Well, let me have a try. This is much better. The perfect example where the right footwear or for your car, the right tires are important for your safety. Let me demonstrate this.
Yeah, let's see who can push the other off this marked area. Okay.
I don't let you win.
This is the perfect demonstration of friction and grip. All right, okay. Oh, thanks. Thanks for coming along, Thorsten.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a great fun.
Yeah, it was. And you showed us that it isn't just rubber. It's high tech, and the right rubber compound can decide your safety. Find out more on our website and stay tuned for next time.